Hello and welcome back to another episode of Internal Rambles. This is your girl, Rochelle. If you're new, welcome, and if you're returning, thank you for tuning back in. Internal Rambles, what do I do over here? I discuss everything from my life, trending entertainment topics, music, etc. You can reach me pretty much everywhere that you get your podcast content, but also at my official site, which is internalramblespodcast.com. All of my episodes are there, but you also can interact with me if you have a question you want me to answer, relationship question, or if you want to discuss some of the things that I have talked about on one of my episodes. You can reach me on the contact page or leave me a voicemail, and you just may get featured on a future episode. Don't be shy now. Please reach out to me. Would love to hear from you. And how are you doing? I hope that you're doing well. I'm doing well today. Let's start this off the way that I do every Thursday episode, and that is either with Rochelle's Rave. That is something that I'm looking forward to, something great that's happening, something that I'm excited about, or Rochelle's Rant, something that has frustrated me and gotten on your girl's nerves, something that has irritated my spirit. And today I have a rave today, so let's get into Rochelle's rave for this episode. Alrighty, so my rave for today is just, I had a challenging issue at work and I was really frustrated, racking my brain about how to solve it. I'm still pretty new in newish in my role. I haven't been in my new role a year yet. And so I did make a mention to my teammate about it, and they did give me a solution. And the solution that my teammate gave me was not wrong, but it was more so a quick fix that would fix the issue in the moment, but it was not gonna fix the issue in the long run. So yeah, everything will be all good right now, but ultimately eventually the issue would pop back up. So I needed something that would resolve the issue forever. I don't want 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line, or even 8 months down the line to have to continuously deal with this issue. Thankfully, I met with my supervisor and it was very tedious. But she really worked with me, spent the time with me. It took us a very long time, but we had to step by step and really go through months of situations to resolve the issue. And now we good, and I shouldn't have this issue no more. And so just really the rave is just the fact that she could have told me, okay, this is what you do. Okay, bye. And instead of doing that, she really, she's like, okay, well, we're going to solve this together. Share your screen with me and we'll work through it. Thankfully, she did that because we had to do a few things. Let's see if this will work. Let's see if this will work. Let's see. I didn't know anything. I'm still new. I had heard about this issue. This was the first time that I was personally encountering it. So I didn't know anything about this type of stuff. So now that she walked me through it, should it come up again, and it will come up again on a different situation, but with this it'll come up again, but not in the same way. But I know how to resolve it should it arise moving forward, but this particular thing is resolved. And so I'm just really grateful that she worked through it with me versus, okay, this is what you do, okay, bye. And I've had situations in the past where people have passed the buck and, okay, well, go to this person, or I don't have time, okay. So it's just nice that she understood that, okay, I know that you're new, I'm gonna work through it with you. And just to have that, I always like to feel like I'm in partnership with my supervisor and in partnership with my teammates, and that just working on a team that they will really help you. And my teammate did help me. It's just that I was really looking for a long-term solution versus a short-term, because when I was looking at it, I just knew that this type of situation would be an issue that will keep recurring if we don't resolve it fully. I didn't want a temporary fix. I wanted a full resolution. So that's my rave, that I had a really positive experience with my supervisor, and she really, really helped me because I was just ready to. I was looking at this, I was getting cross-eyed. That's my rave for today. I hope again that you are doing well. Let's get into some entertainment stuff. A lot going on as per usual. 2023 ended with a bang, and 2024, we ain't even had a full month of 2024, and there has just been a lot happening. So let's talk about a few things that's happening in the entertainment world. Probably talk a little about some life stuff, and then we'll head on up out of here, okay? So let's get into this episode for this January 10th, 2024. Alrighty, so this was going around the social medias. There is a church in Atlanta, ran or ministered by a pastor, William Murphy, and on New Year's Eve, they wanted to get their dance on, and so they were swagging and surfing and walking it out on New Year's Eve. And when I first saw it, I kind of was like, okay, whatever. And then when I saw it again, I was thinking, okay, is this a joke? Is this? And it wasn't a joke. It was a joke, y'all. And this is my opinion, and you can have yours first. And then he was on Dish. Is it called Dish Nation, Dish Network? Let me get it correctly, okay? Dish Nation, and he explained it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I got the blurb of it. But so and I'm obviously paraphrasing, okay? He said that Atlanta is all about the culture. And we have to, in order to bring the people to the church, we have to have the culture. And we can't let the devil have the culture. We have to take the culture back from the devil. So it's okay to bring the culture into the church. And I was like, excuse me, so what? And he's like, we have to reclaim the culture for Christ. And I was just like, So here's the thing. I think that there have to be creative ways to, in regards to youth, have them understand and be interested in attending church and being able to understand the word of Christ. But in no way do I believe that swagging and surfing for the Lord, I'm not going to swag and surf for now. Do I listen to secular music? Yes. But I'm not doing that in church. I do believe that there certain things should be separate. Does that make sense? Swagging and surfing in church just seems inappropriate to me. And I think that people do things because they want it to make it seem. There's in all things there's a standard. There's a Jesus ain't swagging and surfing. Not my Jesus. He not Jesus. And there's a way to do things, I guess, and you can dance. There is gospel hip hop, but that is and there are people that will turn certain secular songs into gospel songs, which it is what it is. But swag and surfing ain't it. And that pastor knows what he's doing. I don't want to, when I go to church, I want to praise, and that's okay. That church is not for me. If I attended that church and they started swag surfing, I would probably walk out. But that just means that that's not the church for me. And I think that people do things and well, we doing it for the Lord. Just because you say it for the Lord don't mean it's really actually for the Lord. I think we have to be mindful of that. And you can be of the culture and want to bring culture, but walking it out for Jesus don't seem, I'm not going to walk it out for Jesus. Like that song wasn't meant for Jesus. But there's all types of different types of songs that you can, there is gospel hip hop and there are ways to reach the youth, and it's appropriate, and it is, but no. And Plies made a post and on Instagram, and he was like, do children go to church? Do people bring children to church? And I was thinking about this. I went to church recently, and I was like, I don't see as many children in church, but then also they have their own, they're not in the main church, they have their own children's ministry. So I guess I wouldn't necessarily see them. But I guess my other thing is the older kids. I don't see as many teens in church as I used to. So, yeah, I don't know. I know for me, growing up, we were off and on going to church, but then it kind of got to a point where I was grown. So my father would bring us to church, and then he would go to church. But then once I started driving when I was 17, so I would go to church by myself. Sometimes I would go with my dad. Once I had the ability to drive, it was up to me to go to church. You know what I'm saying? So, but that wasn't a consistent thing that we did, but it did start with my father bringing me to church, and that's where my faith began, was at home with family, but then it was upon myself to maintain it and continue it. So I think that if we're not seeing children in church, I don't know if parents are bringing them as they used to. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I can't speak to that. But I just think that I don't want to get into the whole false prophets thing, because then we're going to go down a road. But I think that not every, and I don't know this pastor, I don't know anything about him, and I'm not saying anything about him negatively, but what I will say is it's very important to just be mindful of who is feeding you the word and who you're getting the word from, and is it the right, you will know when it, and one day maybe I'll go into like finding a church home and what that was like, and was actually, as an adult, was not hard, thank God, but people do struggle with that. That's why I say if I was in that church and they started swag surfing, I would have surfed and swag on up out that door, because that wouldn't have been the church for me. So, because I obviously, have you listened to my podcast? I listen to secular music. I'm not saying, but I'm not doing that in the house of the Lord. And it's no judgment. It's just some things are meant to be separate for a reason. And you can appeal to the youth and be of the culture and swag surfers, and not be swag surfing in the church. That's like me reciting Jeezy lyrics. I'm well aware that I listen to hip hop, okay? And it's not hypocritical, but I'm not going to be, I'm the realest I already know in church. I'm just not going to do it. So, yeah, it is what it is. Live your life the way No, the only one who can judge me is the man above. But I'm just saying, no, bro, don't be swag surfing. I don't think that that's really. You can dance and praise and do all of those things and bring in the new year and not do that and have fun. So, yeah. I don't know if I really answered that. For me, I answered it, but yeah. Because I think when I go to church, you know, there's a calm and there's a peace, and that's where I go for that, and that would have been the opposite for me. So that's that. Switching it up, it's a very exciting time for actors, actresses, singers, performers. It's awards season. People have already started getting awards. So the Golden Globes just recently happened. I don't know what you would call it, the pre-Emmys. Some people have already started getting Emmys, pre-Oscar season. I don't know if you would call it that. So I just want to touch on that really kind of briefly, and hopefully I don't fumble that, because you've gotten some awards that have already happened. They haven't been televised, but okay. So anyways, the Golden Globes happened. Joe Coy hosted. Some people didn't like it. Some people liked it. I love Joe Coy. I didn't see his intro I didn't see him and his jokes, but I think he's a great comedian. So that's that. But what I will say is I am so happy that one of my favorite actors is finally getting his just due. Cillian Murphy won for Best Actor. He was in Oppenheimer. I have not seen Oppenheimer because it's 87 million years long. It's 3 hours long, or about 3 hours long. But everyone has said it's great, incredible. He won for Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer won Best Dramatic Movie. I believe Robert Downey Jr. also won a Golden Globe. So kudos and shout out to them. Very exciting time. Cillian, go ahead and get that Oscar. That's what I need him. Just go ahead and just sweep the award season. Overdue for Cillian to win. And then shout out to Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer won an Emmy for Best Game Show Host. She has just been killing it. She won for Password. I love her on there. So shout out to Keke Palmer. And also Angela Bassett finally getting her just due. She won an honorary Academy Award. So she is now an official Oscar winner. We always upset that she did not get an Oscar last year, but she now has one. So shout out Miss Angela Bassett, one of the most amazing actresses of our time and of all time. So shout out to these winners. Very exciting time for award season. Next up, we do have the Grammys on February 2nd. Just to name some of the nominees this year: Victoria Monet, SZA, Coco Jones, Chris Brown, Drake, 21 Savage, Erica Campbell, Kirk Franklin, just to name a few. So fingers, toes crossed to all the winners. And again, the Grammys will be on February 2nd. Speaking of 21 Savage, he announced that his third album will be released tomorrow. It was kind of out of the blue. I don't remember him stating that he was coming out with an album beforehand. It is called American Dream, and it is out again tomorrow, Friday, January 11th. So be on the lookout for that. I'm excited about that. I love 21 Savage. So shout out to 21. And then he also shared that there's going to be I don't know if it's a documentary the 21 Savage story, and it has Donald Glover in it, and that's coming out soon. So I'm guessing it's going to go hand in hand with his album. So shout out to 21 Savage doing big things. And that is also, did I mention it's also called American Dream? So shout out to 21 Savage, and excited to hear his new album. Okay, really quickly. So there was this post on social media. I'm going to be super paraphrasing. Hopefully I don't get any of this information wrong. I probably will. There's this woman, and she posed this question to, I guess, us out in internet land. Basically, she says that she has a boyfriend and he is stingy. I don't know. She has children and she works 3 jobs and she helps pay the bills. And she had to basically get 3 jobs in order to make ends meet. And that when she needs some extra money because everything goes into the household, he won't give her any money. So like sometimes she may ask for $20 or $50, and she says, it's not like I'm trying to get my nails done or anything like that, and he doesn't even ever give me money for that. Usually it's for the household. It's something I may need to put back into the house, and I'm really trying my best, but he just feels as though he shouldn't have to give me any money. And my question is, do your boyfriends give you money? I don't understand. He says that he shouldn't have to give me any money, etc. And I do so much, and I have 3 jobs, and sometimes it's just not enough. And she says whenever she asks him for money, it's always a fight. And she says that she wants to marry him, but whenever she asks about finances, he won't tell her what his finances even is. And I'm like, girl, get out. Get out. First of all, she lost me at 3 jobs because I was like, you running yourself. Because she said that she, not only does she have 3 jobs, but she also, it sounds like she's like pretty much the main caretaker of the children. Get out. Why he there? It sounds as if he's not pouring into the household. He's not helping her. He don't offer to assist her. He won't even give her $2. Get out. What we doing? Relationships should be a partnership. It don't sound like a partnership. It sounds like she by herself. So get out. It's the principle of the matter. Because your money is going into the household, into the bills, and if you want to go get your nails done because you got 3 jobs and he won't do that for you, or your money going to the bills and you need some help with the groceries and he won't help you, why he there? Whenever you ask about, well, how your finances are you saving money? If we want to move, can we? If we want to buy a house, what that look like? And it's a fight. Yeah. Marriage is not going to improve that. Sometimes people have the misperception that marriage is a remedy for things. It's not. A lot of times it's actually the catalyst of more problems. Get out. Get out while you ahead, sis. That's like, I don't know. She looks so stressed too. I'm like, I mean, maybe I'm reading more into it, but she don't look happy. And you talking about, but I want to marry him. But you don't look happy. You stressed already. Get out. Okay. If you've seen her post, I'd like to know what you think about what she says. Hit me up on my website. Let me know. Because, yeah, I know I wasn't the only one. And the comments are all saying, girl, go. Leave him be. Leave him where he is, child. Transitioning to some live stuff. Really quickly, so I've mentioned that your girl's trying to move in 2024. Ain't no trying, she gonna move. So I'm looking at both options, renting. I currently rent a townhouse and buying. And I have not looked at, really honestly, in any serious manner, renting anything in years. Why is rent so expensive? Renting, I feel like I gotta sell body parts. And I don't mean like, I gotta sell like an arm to afford some, like, you know, I don't mean like sell my body. I mean like cut off an arm to afford some rent. Why is rent so expensive? There was a place that I was going to move into prior to where I am, but it got rented out before I could apply to it. They renovated it. It looks nice. It's literally twice as much. And I'm like, are the cabinets made of gold? Like, why is it twice as much? I mean, does it come with a housekeeper? A chef? What are we doing here? I don't want to get stressed before, like, I still have plenty of time. But I'm looking at these rent prices and I see why nowadays I see why people say it's better to buy, because these rent prices are astronomical. That should have probably been my rant. I should have had a rant for today. But I'm just going to pray about it and just do my due diligence and do what I got to do. But I'm looking at rent and I'm just, how do people afford this? Because it will work out in the end, but I'm just... And some of these places, I'm just kind of thinking the audacity. Why is this price? Why y'all charging these prices? Okay, let's get into some. What is she watching? Ready to Love, Make a Move, wrapped up. And thank God for Jesus, right? Because what a season. And I don't mean that necessarily in a positive way. Them folks weren't ready to love. Them men were not ready to love. Okay? That one guy, when I tell you he strung her along, like, you know those cat toys with the little thing at the end and you just bounce them up and the cat just follows along? That's what he was doing with Zadia. He did not want her. But also, he kept pretty much telling her, you should probably go on some more dates. I don't think this is the best time in my life. I really got a lot going on in my career. And she kept keeping him, and it was like, girl, you need to borrow my glasses real quick, because you is missing all the signs. One couple made it. And honestly, he got money. And she liked that. And I think they could make it. But I don't know if someone's going to have to make a sacrifice somewhere, because they do not live in the same state, let alone city. So I don't know if either one of them is going to make a move. But nonetheless, they cute, for right now. But it just was challenging to watch at times. And I saw a headline that said the Make a Move show is better than the original. What you sipping on? No, it's not. Y'all better not play Tommy Miles like that. The original, even though there's been some rough seasons, is better. How you do that? How do you make that statement after one season of a new show? Anyways, it's over. I'm sure there'll be more seasons, but it was definitely challenging to watch at times. It wasn't bad. It's just a lot of them were just not ready, especially the men. And so, as I mentioned, I am not reviewing week to week Married at First Sight. They got like 1.5 couples still there. I will try to do a recap of the season once they hit decision day, but this is probably one of the worst, if not the worst seasons that they have had. And y'all know I love Pastor Cal. The experts, they got to go back to the drawing board because something ain't working. But nonetheless, in regards to what the next reality show recap will be for this podcast, I will make a decision because I'm on the fence. It's either going to be the next season of Ready to Love, which starts, I think, this week, this week, one of the weeks, or Married at First Sight. Love and Marriage DC. So I will make a decision. Most likely, I will watch the first episode of Ready to Love and make a decision. But I'm leaning towards Love and Marriage DC. But it'll be one or the other. So, reality show recaps will resume very, very, very soon. I'm really happy that the shows are coming back on, though. That the holiday seasons, because you know that things go on hiatus and then the actor strike is over. So my shows I don't watch a lot of TV, but the shows that I do watch, I am very glad that they are coming back on. So I did start watching a show. It's actually a canceled show. There's only 2 seasons. And once I finish it, if I recommend it, I'll mention it, but I'm only a few episodes in, so there's no point in really saying too much about it. But it was a show that was recommended by someone else, so we'll see what happens. And in podcast news, Angela Rye is starting a podcast with Tiffany Cross and Andrew Gillum, and the podcast is called Native Land Pod. It begins on January 11th. So if you want to check out a new podcast, it is a political podcast, which makes sense due to who is on there. Check it out wherever you get your podcast content. It just so happened to run across the post. I really enjoy Angela Rye. And whenever I've seen her on CNN or Breakfast Club, and she used to have her own, I don't know if you would call it a podcast. I used to see her on YouTube. So check her out and the other two in their new podcast. First episode is going to be released on January 11th if you do so choose. Okay, let's wrap this up the way that I do every Thursdays, which is songs of the podcast. This could be new songs or oldie but goodies that is in heavy rotation. And this is going to be a little bit different today. It was AJ McLean's birthday this week of the Backstreet Boys. So I'm going to do my favorite Backstreet Boys song. I'm just going to kind of do random. So these are 2 of my favorite Backstreet Boys songs. So the first one is Shape of My Heart. And the other one is Show Me the Meaning of Being Lonely. So those are 2 of my favorite Backstreet Boys songs. I was able to finally see them after many, many years of wanting to see them. And it was an incredible show. Love, love, love. I am Team BSB, okay? love Backstreet Boys. And then since I talked about 21 Savage earlier in this episode, let me get what is one of my favorite 21 Savage songs. So let's see. Let me pick one. I think I'm going to pick Monster. That was just the first song that I saw in my playlist from 21 Savage, so I'm going to just pick that. So those are the songs of the playlist. Listen, thank you for tuning in. Very much appreciate it. Subscribe to me so that you get my podcast episodes immediately. And hit me up at my official site. You can also reach me on YouTube, Internal Rambles, one word, no space. That's how I will pop up quickly. Subscribe to me, leave me a comment, give me a like. Truly helps me out over there. And again, the reality show recaps will be coming again. They will be back soon. Take care of yourselves. Self-care is very, very important. If you are in an area where it gets cold and it's winter time, stay warm, stay safe. And until next episode, this is your girl, Rochelle.